Hello there, my name is Ben Chapman and welcome to the Go Home episode of Smackdown before Payback, where we have got a big opening angle. We've got a cold open with Banks and Bayley brawling in the back, just wailing on each other with weapons, whatever they can find, just chucking it at each other. And Bayley starts taking the upper hand of the fight and starts pummeling Banks down into the mat. By the way, I should probably do introductions. My name is Ben Chapman. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you want to give me an update, give me what you thought, let me know in the comments down below. Back to the fight. So Bayley starts just wailing on Banks with the chair, getting her on the floor before she Pillmanizes her. She puts the chair around the neck. She jumps onto a construction box and jumps off, stamping on the chair around Banks's neck, leaving Banks lying at hospital. We see medics come in and we see Banks taken into an ambulance to a hospital. Pretty good way to start the show. It's a 92 rating. Phenomenal. When Nikki Cross comes to the ring and she calls out Alexa Bliss saying, "Alexa, just come out here. We need to discuss what's going on here because something's not right. Something's not right here. We need to sort this out." Bliss comes out and she stands around the ringside and then the lights cut out. The lights come back up, the red light is on and the Fiend is in the ring behind Nikki Cross. She turns around and Nikki Cross, rather than running away, swings for the Fiend. She goes for the Fiend, trying to get the first strike in. The Fiend ducks it and locks in the mandible claw on Nikki, with Alexa staring at ringside. And Nikki just passes out in the Fiend's arms. The lights cut out again, and they're all gone. All of them are just gone. Gets a 100 rating, which was a phenomenal segment. Everyone did pretty well, to be fair. Everyone did really good. Hot new catchphrase. The Fiend is an amazing heel. He was penalised for not being a good improv guy, but I don't think he actually said anything in this segment though, so who knows. We then go. We've had our cold open, we've had our opening angle. Kind of happened in the cold open. We're now going to our first match of the night, which is Jey Uso taking on Jackson Ryker and pretty much squashing him with a super kick in 6 minutes and 9 seconds. They didn't seem to click, which is unfortunate, but you know, eventually I always try and make sure that any tag team has the possibility of becoming single stars later, and the Usos fit into that category. They are teams which might potentially become single stars at some point, whether it be split up because of draft or a breakup. But I always try and consider what would happen if any tag team breaks up. So giving Jey Uso a singles push while Jimmy's not around, it's always a good idea. I mean, they're doing it in real life as well, aren't they? It's a 67 rating. Pretty easy win. We're going to get Braun Strowman talking about how he set this open challenge. He's going to be in the main event tonight. But Braun doesn't think that anyone's actually going to accept it. Braun does not think. Oh, we're skipping ahead. Braun does not think that anyone's going to accept this challenge. We're going to go into a women's match where Tenille Dashwood defeats Dana Brooke with the Roaring Elbow. I'm trying to. Eventually, she's going to return to the name Emma, but I'm really waiting for her. At the moment, I'm just trying to build her overness up using non-character stuff, like having to beat people like Dana Brooke despite them having bad chemistry. That's the second bad chemistry in 2 matches in this card. It's really bad, actually. He gets a 60 rating. We get a hype video for Robert Roode, who's going to be going back to his rich gimmick. It's not specifically mentioned that it's Robert Roode in the hype package. It's just clips of somebody in a mansion walking out of a posh car, drinking champagne in a big house, and it's just showing him as a rich person, and it is eventually going to be Robert Roode. We then get an interesting segment, which I think is one of my favourite things I've not thought of. It's been pitched before, but I want to try and actually do it. The Firefly Fun, we get the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Alexa Bliss in the Firefly Funhouse, and they keep going, and then suddenly the feed just cuts, and it comes back up, and you see this mask. It's not the Fiend's mask. It's this black and white mask of Willow the Wisp. It's the infamous Willow mask, and boy, this could be fun. And Willow just looks, and he just opens his eyes to get those glazed contacts which Jeff Hardy sometimes has, and he just stares into the camera. As the feed cuts out once again, we don't even return to the Funhouse. That's that segment. It's short, it's sweet, but boy, it makes me excited. We then find Adam Pearce is then backstage, finding that heavy machinery have been laid out. He's talking about how heavy machinery have just been found on the floor, and both the Motor City Machine Guns and the Artist Collective teams come up and they blame each other for what happened. The Motor City Machine Guns say that it was obviously Cesaro and Nakamura. They're trying to make sure that there's no competition for them. They want to try and cheat their way into this tag division. And Cesaro and Nakamura are going like, I mean, it's no surprise that they'd have jumped heavy machinery. And the Motor City Machine Guns came in and jumped the entire queue. I'm not surprised nobody likes them. And it's pretty much, no, we don't actually find out who did it, but we know that Otis and Tucker were found unconscious backstage, and neither of these teams are sure. We then get a match, which is Grand Metalik's warm-up match for his Cruiserweight Championship match this Sunday on the pre-show of Payback, where he'll be facing Cedric Alexander. He faces Bo Dallas in just a showcase match. Gets an 853 rating, Fisherman carry with the Metalik driver, 75 rating overall, brilliant, and they have great chemistry together. Good to know. And then after the match, it's simply put, Cedric Alexander comes out to the ramp and him and Metalik have a stare down. It's a 71 rating. We're going to get a squash match as Dominik Dijakovic defeats Cal Bloom, who is my now go-to jobber. I am going to see how many losses in a row I can give this guy, because he's pretty much almost going to be on every single show jobbing at least once now. He gets defeated with a reverse Death Valley driver here. Gets a 61 overall. Dijakovic gets a 76. Heck, we might even be able to get Cal Bloom over in all of this jobbing. And then Dijakovic cuts a promo after the match talking about how he's a specimen. And you need to feast your eyes on him, because if you ignore him, there's no coming back for you. We go to the penultimate segment before the main event match, which is Braun Strowman's Open Challenge. And we've got Miz TV coming out to host it, and he introduces his guest from NXT, Johnny Gargano. And Miz spends the entire time taunting Gargano about Ciampa, and Gargano's like, I don't want anything to do with Ciampa. Me and Ciampa are finished. Don't mention Ciampa to me. And this sort of infuriates The Miz, as The Miz was trying to use Gargano as a linchpin against Ciampa for this Sunday. But it turns out it's not working, so in the end, Gargano steps up to leave and gets hit with a super kick from Morrison into a skull-crushing finale from The Miz, and Gargano is left laying. We can go into the main event match, I believe, next. It is. And there we go. That's why he appeared earlier. The person who answers Braun Strowman's Open Challenge is Willow the Wisp. Gets him out into the ring. He takes and he beats Braun Strowman. Yeah, this entire, I mean, let's be honest, the fact that there was a weak build for the Open Challenge suggested that the person who answered it was gonna beat Braun. But yeah, Willow defeats Braun with a twist of hate and gets a 75 rating, which I'm a little disappointed at, to be honest, considering they got 90 and 88 respectively. What happened? Yeah, fair enough. He gets a 75 rating though. And after that, the Fiend appears once again, and him and Willow go face to face, forehead to forehead, and just glare at each other as the lights cut out and the show cuts off. Simple as that. Gets a 89 rated show. Brilliant. If we look, we got 4 100 rated segments, which is pretty darn good, to be honest. We built pretty much all of the Smackdown matches from Payback, which will be the next episode in 2 days' time. Well, I've been Ben Chapman, and that was Smackdown on Fox.